and I'm not complaining about it, but why are contracted services going down?
Because that was, so the RCI, what I was talking about earlier, that does the imaging for us, well, that I want to do the imaging for us, they come and do our records retention every year. So it may even be less than that next year because I got caught up this year, so, but, they come in and they look at our records and say, okay, yes, these are permanent, or these are, these can be, destroyed in 2 years or whatever. And that keeps us where we need to be through the Texas, State Library and Archives Commission.
And it's so important, especially when you're looking for documents like the contract and another guy. Because you couldn't find it.
Oh, yes, you're right. And that's also, we have shred bins, one at City Hall, one at the Public Safety Facility, that we put documents in that can be shredded.
Is all your part of this administration, you're not in the court also?
Court is Thursday.
You're not part of that at all?
I am.
So you got 2 items for you later on?
Yes, I'll do court on Thursday.
No, I mean, your court for you, your personal self involved in like the salary in this?
No, all my salaries here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next one is gonna be finance.
By the way, there was a cost savings between 2023, and what's projected for 2024 by 180,285. Yeah, just on salary, because there was still a cost, that was a difference. It went down, that's an extra 180,000 plus. That we cut back on.
Okay, just because we move on, does that mean we can't go back? I don't know if I have questions, if I have, like, okay.
Leslie, how many people do you have in the finance department?
10. Well, no, that's including me. So I have, it's myself, Christina, Shelby, Brooklyn, Mindy, and James, 6. And then I have, utility vending under me.
But that would be a different one of these.
Yes, I think it's actually in here too. Oh, no.
So,
Oh, okay, yeah.
I have a question when we're talking about going back. Okay, never mind.
Okay, so I'm also, so actuals, total budget, year-to-date, preliminary, I'm gonna start off with combined services. At the very top, combined services is like the workers' compensation and then our TML insurance for like our, property, our deductibles and, all our buildings and all that. So, it did increase for projections, and as you can see, it did increase, for the insurance liability, insurance property, and deductibles. We have to add, and then here we have to add new equipment and new vehicles when we get them. And then another thing is that every year, the insurance goes up. Y'all know that insurance always goes up, for that. So we got back, estimates of how much it was gonna go up, and then, but this is split between, general fund, water, sewer, and solid waste. So you'll see this again in water, sewer, and in solid waste, because it's split between three funds.
So is it really 3 times this amount?
No, so it's less, so I do a portion, so like general fund, since it's the bigger fund, pays for most of it, and then water sewer pays for another portion, and then solid waste pays for another portion, because I look at it as, we have a lot of vehicles that belong to water sewer that they need a,
It's a shared cost.
it's a shared cost. So, so those numbers are, and then on workers' comp, it went up because we had to add the volunteer fire department, because they weren't under our workers' comp insurance, and so we had volunteers that got injured while they were out on a call, and then that's when we figured out that they weren't. So we had to add them. This year. This year. So those are things, unforeseen things that we didn't think about until they happened.
At what point do you get the hard numbers on those? Or are these like the
No, those are the
actual?
hard numbers.
That's it?
Yes.
No wiggle
Yeah, I
room, no
actually
nothing.
have like where I went, me and Mindy were talking to the lady, and these are the hard numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
No changes at all?
No.
Not up, not down?
Well, it depends if we add vehicles, so
They
if,
go.
yeah, if we buy vehicles and equipment, or, you know, people wreck their vehicles and stuff, then it goes up, and then the more claims we do, the more it goes up, so really, this is just like a, this is what they gave me, but depending on unforeseen things, it could go up.
So you don't know until basically the end of the fiscal year what the average.
Yeah, the average,
How many
really.
claims have we had this year?
I don't know off the top of my head, but we have a lot of claims. We have, yeah.
It's fine, I'm just curious.
Yeah, we can.
We had like the lightning strikes for the pumps, those were big items, and so.
And then we had a fire truck that got a fire and caught on fire. So we had any police vehicles that wrecked.
We had one small repair.
But you don't, we didn't do it on insurance.
Oh, that's sorry, that was somebody else's fault. What I call?
Okay, that's good. Those are the ones we like.
Okay, so what were the 3 areas again? I'm sorry, it's general fund, water, sewer.
And solid waste.
Thank you.
So,
Uniforms. What uniforms are you purchasing?
okay, so uniforms, instrument and apparatus, and other supplies, I moved to utility billing because that's my meter reader. So, after meeting with Kimberly said, hey, let's just move, the meter reader, all his things to utility billing, it just makes more sense than putting it under finance. So my meter reader was getting, uniforms out of finance, and so we moved it. So you'll see that when I show you my utility billing budget, you'll see that I moved that 450 over to that, line item of uniforms of 200.
So it's going to disappear from.
Yeah, it's gonna disappear.
That's why it's a blank for the
Yes,
preliminary for next year.
because, yeah, because I moved it to utility billing.
I know you probably said this, who all's in finance?
Daisy.
Me, Mindy, Jamie, Shelby, Brooklyn, Christina, and, Lauren, but
I mean that,
So 7?
But Lauren's not here with us anymore, so 6.
yeah, so 6.
but you kept that position.
Yeah.
But the fact that the position is to monitor and see the flow of work. Yeah, I felt that they can manage without that other position, but I didn't want to totally get rid of it, so I'm just sure that they would be able to manage without it.
That makes sense.
So what, employee relations. So Kimberly, you're capturing that, and it makes sense for it to be under you. Why wouldn't all of it just fall under you?
With some of it, pertains to Dayton Police
Specific
Department.
to
Yes,
finance.
and that's for shirts for the ladies,
City of Dayton.
for the city of Dayton.
Why the drop on 6311? Why the drop?
Because I told them they didn't need to be buying all that furniture, just bought chairs, so why you need to sell a chair?
You don't need a chair too.
Actually, yeah,
That's what
that
happened.
too, but I dropped it too because I needed a little bit more on my dues and fees and subscriptions. I needed $36 more, and then I needed, $480 more on 6410 on my, audit and financial. So I cut back on my,
Everybody knows
furniture and
chair.
pictures and on my other office supplies, so I, so it just like.
You just moved buckets of money.
Yeah, I just
from one
moved
bucket
from
to
one
the
line
other
item to
to-
another to fund, but it's the same. The only one that I'm gonna tell you that I can't control, and it's, 6425. It's the appraisal district, and their fees went up 21,284, and that's based on the
They
tax
passed that
rate that they
renovation?
collect.
But that's something that you can't
I
control
can
or
control
project. Yeah.
Who can? It's a different meeting, sorry.
Yeah, okay. Go talk to Jeff about that.
I know.
I can't control that. When I saw that, I was like,
Okay, one more, what line item is that one?
Back side of the first page.
6425. It went up 21,284. Yeah.
That's
More
basically
value
just a
than what they
percentage.
Yeah, the more we get
Yes,
in levy, the more they make.
it's basically a percentage.
Yes. So,
That's why they want your house to be so expensive.
Yes, that's why you gotta protest that appraisal. I win. I'll appeal.
And so on 6340, the fuel, that is gonna be on the utility billing.
no, that one, remember last year, council asked to put fuel all under one
Okay.
department, so we put it under Public Works, I think it's under 35, right? Yeah.
Is that because they have the
Fleet
tank?
maintenance.
Okay.
Are we under,
We able to keep,
are we under what we projected?
For the fuel?
You don't have to, I'm just curious if you remember.
Oh, the fuel, where we were on that.
I just wonder if he's under, I'm just curious, you don't have to look it up.
What is, 6458,
We're gonna come in and check.
other leases and rentals?
And that's, that's not necessarily because,
That's probably a copy machine. It's important there to get the leases, that's your copier and your,
6458, that's a postage machine.
She said postage.
postage machine.
That didn't change.
So you pay for the machine and the postage separately?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Any questions on,
I'm good on that.
finance, of anyone? Yeah. HR, we need to look at the,
So what's the good job? Good job.
maybe better.
Oh, no, wait.
Nope, you're not finished.
Utility billing.
Yeah, utility billing, I'm like, oh.
I thought about
You
that.
gave it the other day, but you didn't put it on it.
Sorry, I was.
Look.
Projection is maybe 2,000. It's a projection, right? It could be less. And then we'll do whatever you need it, so that it's- Oh, I thought it was that one was supposed to be the stuff, which is- if the revenue can do it, then it'll be more.
Yeah, that's sheet, that's all we're gonna do. But we're gonna want that later.
No, it isn't, because you gotta have to make it out, right? So people, you know what you need, you got to sacrifice.
Yeah, we're doing, so I'm also gonna do utility billing and solid waste.
Which is, the things are going from minimum.
What is,
And looking from my, what I have is different than what you all have, so that's why I be trying to find where I'm at, it's different. And I'm like, where did I?
Oh, solid waste and utility, okay, here we go.
Yeah, let's do.
And how many salaries do we have in utility bill?
Oh, yeah, four. I forgot about them. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, my first question is on overtime. We're projecting to have a big jump on that.
So, we haven't had overtime. Like, as you see, I never budgeted overtime for that. But I've been, telling my guy, like, to leave early or to come in late, or, typically I'm supposed to pay him overtime when he works overtime. So that's why I budget, overtime, and also the ladies, I've been telling them to leave, they're hourly employees, they're supposed to be getting paid overtime when I'm asking them to stay over for like billing or anything that they need to work on after hours, and it's not a lot, but I can't keep telling them they're hourly employees, they're subject to being able to get overtime if I ask them to.
If they work overtime, they should get paid overtime.
Yes, and so I've been asking them, like, hey, can you just leave early this day, or hey, can you come in later? And, yeah, and
Either
so I don't wanna potentially have like a problem, I mean, they're all really nice, and say yes, but I don't have a potential problem that's like, well, if I'm staying here late, I should get paid overtime. So I did budget for overtime.
on the utility bill, how many employees?
Or
Or,
Four?
John's part of it.
And it's full staff?
yes.
That looks, from the projections to the preliminary budget, that looks like a 5% increase.
On which line item?
Sorry, salaries and wages.
Okay, so,
Just the last two, comparing the last two columns.
Okay. From the projection.
Yes.
So,
It actually went down from last year.
Yes.
so what's the
It's
example?
probably because the difference in staff, the supervisor probably came in.
and I was gonna have my payroll manager be here, but she couldn't be here today, but
Let's have a question for you. Okay, so looking at this, the numbers in the 23-24 budget is 137. And the 24-25 budget for preliminary is 134. Is it have to do with salary as far as when a new employee come in and pay?
oh
Based on
yes,
that.
oh yes, so the previous supervisor
It's making
was
more.
making more money than the new supervisor.
Yeah.
It all based on years of experience.
So the instrument and apparatus is 6317. So we project, with the projection for 2024, 25, what instrument and apparatus?
Oh, that's the meters that we have to
The
buy.
meters.
So that was budgeted under, 270, which was public works, once again, when we met with the city manager, she said since it's related to meters and we have meters in, the outside building block, it just makes more sense for us to manage.
Okay, so it's no longer in public works?
No, it's now,
Okay.
moved to utility billing.
Okay,
And these are the ones that y'all are gonna be installing in the new development or,
Mhm.
and
Yes,
the
so-
replacements?
Yes, and to replace,
Correct.
and replace.
Okay.
So they shouldn't, is this gonna be a recurring cost, like we're gonna see it again next
Yes.
year?
As we add
As
more
we get more
development.
developed, yeah, we.
Okay, looking at merchant fees, since nobody else is asking, maybe they have 6419. What is the $10,000 jump in merchant fees?
So right now, we are in, well, we actually budgeted $106,920, and then our year-to-date activity, $64,232.57. I'm projecting $85,000, and then 95, I just don't know, like, it was just a week. I mean, people use your credit card, I really can't.
What is those merchant fees, though? What are they for? I mean, what,
Credit
what-
card
Credit card
processing.
Yeah, credit card processing fees.
Remember, right now.
but we are
get it
charging
back.
the public for those credit
We
card
are, so we
fees.
get it back, but we have to
Yes,
show
and
it.
we have it on the revenue, but we're not looking at revenues,
We're looking at the expense side.
today. So we're looking at the expenses, I do have it in the revenue here.
So, John, so what we do when we have things that go in and out, we show it as the expenditure, because we know we're gonna use that money, but we also have it in the revenue as money coming back in. To the
We
city.
have to do it like that for account purposes.
I think y'all explained it
Because
to us
collect it,
last
we
year.
have to collect it as revenue, and then we have to expense it out as expense.
Because we still have to pay it.
Yeah, we still have
Exactly.
to pay it, it's still an expense.
No, I get it. But it should balance out to zero, right?
That is correct.
Well, actually, we're expensing more than revenues coming in. Because remember, we just said the 3% was just gonna be like a, like kind of like a placeholder to see
And,
if it's
and,
gonna be enough, but I don't think it's enough.
no,
We're
because
not
most of
breaking
them
even, so we're
are doing
having to
3.5%.
Yeah,
And some of the costs.
yeah, so we just did 3% because we were like, okay, well, let's start with something, because you're eating the cost. And, but we're not gonna come out even, we're still gonna have more expense than revenue coming in.
You understand?
Yeah,
We'll make sure it's at least close, because we're budgeted and getting charged too. That'd be like double dipping almost.
no,
But I
no,
get what
we're,
you're saying now.
All the meters that we just purchased, what fund did that come out?
so that came out of 270. Because we have it budgeted in that line item, but next year, we're moving it to 210.
Okay.
But it's under, oh, you don't have that. We're not gonna go over that until Thursday, but I'll let you know whenever. Cause you'll see that there's gonna be a zero there for next year.
Solid waste, how many employees is this covering?
So this one is, so the percentage between water utility billing people and solid waste, so there's a percentage, I think it's like 75-25. So utility billing, the ladies and the meter reader get funded by two funds.
And the
Water,
7%.
sewer, and solid waste, because they technically take care of.
So you're saying solid waste and utility billing,
Yeah.
only salary and wages would basically have to be combined, is what you're saying?
Okay, so
That's
what,
why it's like only like 40.
so what, you said it was 75-25, which one gets what percent?
Solid waste gets 75.
Yeah, solid waste gets 25 and, utility billing gets 75, or water sewer.
So water sewer is getting more,
Yes, they're picking
Okay.
up more.
They're
the
picking up
expense
more of the
of
expense.
and solid waste.
is that because it's less people, or is it because of the service usage, or what?
Well, used to because they were doing the landfill, but right now they don't smell it. They used to. Now the landfill belongs to the smell.
She said water sewer was 175.
What, did y'all say the number of employees there?
No.
Total of 4.
4,
And this is 25%?
yes.
So like John said, just so I'm clear, the total salaries then would be 179,010. Between the other funds.
What I can,
Yes. It's combined, 210 and, 210 and 210. Combined.
What are the additional contracted services?
That is, okay, so for that one, we budgeted 566,334.96. Our year-to-date activity is coming in a little bit lower, so I'm projecting that we're gonna end the year at 549.25. And the reason why is because I went back and also why did I, budget a lot more, and it was because initially we had budgeted for a 5% increase because we didn't know what waste management, remember the contract waste management didn't come back to us until August, and that's when council decided to, do the 3% increase for 5 years. Instead of doing the 5% or whatever else they were gonna come back
From
to.
Frontier?
Yeah, from Frontier.
So this
that's
is,
what,
is
that's
this
Frontier waste.
only Frontier?
Yes, that's only
Okay.
Frontier waste. So that's why I budgeted, so high, because it was an unknown. Now that I can see that now we have a contract and it's 3%, and that's why I brought it down to 549. But then for next year, I brought it back up to 567.24 because I'm taking into consideration the 3% increase. The 3% increase that is gonna go up for 5 years, so every year is gonna go up 3%. And then I also have to take in consideration new development, because when they get water and sewer services, they also get trash services, and then they also get additional carts too.
And that's an unknown right now.
Yeah, it's really an unknown, but I was just kind of doing my trend, and
Yes,
then
it
that's
is.
why, that's the reason why I budgeted.
The city comes out ahead, though, on those,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Like there's a built-in,
Yes, there is a building cost. Right now, we are coming out ahead, where we'll have to revisit that in later on in another budget, because it's gonna get to the point where, we at least have to break even.
where's the revenue, the excess revenue going now? Is it for
Well,
an
well,
employee?
I do transfer 50,000 to general fund each, I do transfer 45,000 last year, and this year I'm transferring more because we're, since we have a little bit more revenue, I'm transferring more money to the general fund to help the general fund.
Is there a person, well, it would be utility billing, right? Because it's included
Yes.
on that bill. So that doesn't like help the salary or anything if it goes back in the general
Well,
fund?
it does help so it covers the cost. So the fund is covering their own costs. So their own costs.
Okay,
And I'm still coming in,
you're still being able to throw
yeah,
some
I'm
money
still
back.
being able to move some money to general fund, and then I'm still able to do come in 139 over at the end of the fiscal year, which is not a lot, but it adds up every year.
Okay.
So you have a healthy fund.
I need you to explain the depreciation expense on 6710. I understand equipment costs, the equipment values go down, but,
It's going somewhere else.
Oh, the depreciation expense for the actual?
mhm.
Yeah, that's an adjusting journal entry done by the auditors. They report the depreciation expense for equipment and infrastructure that they have, and then they report it as an asset. So it's to move it out of there,
Okay.
Where they moving it to?
to an asset account.
And insurance is going down, liability?
But you see how I kinda, so yes, liability went down, but you see how property went up.
It did.
So that's why I did that, because I went back and looked at, what, TMO provided us, and based on how I break down from general fund, water, sewer, and solid waste, I figured out the percentages, and then that's how I was able to save in one line item, but then in the other ones, it was more.
So this one's about the same as last year.
Yeah, this one is, really the big expense for this one is gonna be the contracted services, which is from Fairways. That's the bigger expense that we wanna cover every year.
Any other questions on those? Did we do it insurance? Just checking.
And HR is just one position. Just easy.
What do you have for contracted services?
So contracted services is our insurance broker, ACA reporting, medical, medicine. We are in, we did that one down, we are in the process of changing the number, so that number may also drop significantly some more. We're trying to get that cost down as much as possible.
Okay, what is ACA?
There's, IRS regulated report that we have to do each year on insurance.
So it's for brokers, it's basically brokerage.
Correct.
Okay.
But they also do for like our agency account, they do the ACA reporting, like the Affordable Care Act reporting.
refuse collection. But I guess it's just a generic.
That's exactly what I seen. I was like, okay.
So we may wanna tweak that.
But that's everything outside of HVAC and landscaping. Would that be correct to say that that particular, talking about the line item numbers? Because there's 3 different ones for contracted services. You got 64, 11, 12, and 13. And they're all contracted services.
She's 11.
Yeah, she's 11.
Right, but 12 and 13, 12 is specifically for HVAC, 13 is specifically for landscaping. So everything outside of HVAC and landscaping falls into the 3rd.
Yes.
So, refuse.
Yeah, that was kind of like, okay.
What does the other employee benefits mean? For this one?
6113. 6113.
Six-
Longevity pay, deferred compensation. Is that what it is?
Yeah, longevity paid, deferred compensation, mission square.
What is it?
Mission Square is retirement.
Longevity pay,
Longevity?
deferred.
John, it's on your coding guideline document paper that they gave, but we just started using it on.
We did, we just found it. It makes more sense if you read it. It really does.
And Tammy, what's your other professional services?
That's, who we use for our background checks for pre-employment, and then also who we use for our drug screens, randoms, occupational health. We did have to add the vaccine, hepatitis vaccines this year, which is why it kind of increased from last year. And then we do quarterly randoms, but this year we had a specific random that we had to do based on an incident, which was right at $1,000. So we just increased that line item to compensate in case we didn't do that again next year.
Do you, if you did use a service for, hiring, or, I'm trying to think of the name of the one you did before. Yes, would that fall under this?
It actually falls under software, but we are looking at trying to, get rid of that.
Auto allowance.
Oh.
And use something,
Our auto allowance.
that we already have in place that doesn't cost.
Say that again?
So
Our
we're
auto
trying
allowance,
to cut
that's
that.
what this is.
And that runs about $7,000 a year. But that would fall under IT because it's software.
Incentive pay one more time, what was it usually involved? Overtime, not certificate,
My certifications.
certification?
I'm happy to see yours and overall went down.
We finished with every dental meeting today.
And before we jump into that, Tammy, just to kind of piggyback on something the mayor had said at the beginning, do you feel like you have everything that you need for your department? Is there anything that you would like to have that you don't, or anything like that?
No, I think I have everything that I need. Like I said, we do try to look at what we're currently utilizing and see if there's ways that we can maybe utilize something else that maybe gives the same name or similar. We just got together about the bamboo software, we're not able. What does Tyler provide us currently that we might use instead of bamboo? So we do try to look at those things because we do try to learn for what each we cover.
Has Tyler Technologies been a little more, better the communication, or is it still about the same?
Depends on the area that you reach out to. Some has higher priorities than others.
Okay. Okay, Amanda, how many employees does the salary and wages cover?
Total of 4 free.
Is that all full-time, or is that full-time?
They're not all full-time. We did try something to, with the community center, took one position, turned it into 2 part-time positions to see if we can cover more, and it didn't really work out, so we're back to 3 full-times at this time, other than myself.
And you have one part-time?
No, 4 full-time. We went back to the
I wrote down 5.
She said it was 4.
You have 5 or you have 4?
Inclusive of her.
Counting you twice.
Your 3 employees are hourly, is that?
They are correct.
Say again, what was the answer?
Yes, sir.
Three full-time?
Full-time, yes. 4.
But that's not what we have right now, right?
Yes.
3 full-time?
Yes.
Okay. I thought for some reason it was part-time and a full-time or something.
We did until recently. We had 2 full-time, and we took one full-time and turned it into 2 part-time positions. It didn't work, so we went back to the full-time position. So maybe we could bring it back to 3 full-time on the floor.
Did you ask for more in this? Did you ask for another full-time in this, or just what we stuck with what we had last year?
We settled on a part-time.
We have to fill in a part-time employee.
In this? So that'd be 3 plus 1?
A part-time.
It could be 4.
4.5. It would be 4 or plus or part-time.
4 full-time
Yes.
and then a part-time. I'm just trying to write it down so.
Yes.
Let's play the budget. Right now, what you see this number, we took the part-time out because we couldn't manage and get a balanced budget.
Okay.
So she asked for a part-time, and until we could find where we can get it from, because we had to balance the budget, because we had dipped into reserve, I took the employee.
Okay, so this number only has the 4 full-time?
That is
Yes,
correct.
that's correct.
But you haven't had this 4 full-time all year, have you?
No.
No.
Okay.
Promotional expenses, 6342. You're not anticipating having any, or is that being moved to something different, or?
Yes, that's being moved to public relations.
Okay.
But if you're a couple of the ratio, that's 6351 increase.
So that doubled.
But that's a lot different.
It's for the Veterans Luncheon, 10,000, Spirit of Christmas, 10,000, Old Spanish Trail, 5,000, and then the 4th of July is 34,500. That's what equals the 59,500.
Old Spanish Trail was,
Old Spanish Trail,
We
5,000.
favor that, yeah, we should make it.
and then,
We should make it.
okay, I got Veteran Luncheon, Spirit of Christmas, Old Spanish Trail.
Veterans Luncheon Celebration, 10,000, Spirit of Christmas, 10,000, Fall Spanish Trail, 5,000, and then the 4th of July event, 34,000.
6357, grants and incentives, we're not projecting to get any grants and incentives for the community center.
If we know of any, but we don't have
We
that.
really don't budget for grants and incentives because it's an unknown, so we don't budget for.
It doesn't seem like that would be an expense anyway.
Yeah, and that's actually an inactive account, but since it has activity in 2022, 23, that's the reason why. So now you see how they're all blank, that's why those are all inactive.
Do we know why we spent $899 in 2022, 2023? Was that applying for a grant or matching grant or something?
Do you remember, Amanda, that for your, which one is it?
6357.
You spent $899, do you remember one? I do not recall. Yeah, oh, fine. Wow.
And 6411, contracted services, I know there's no increase, but what exactly are those contracted services?
These optical walls right here, we try to get them serviced, we're kind of antiquated, we don't, no one uses this system anymore, so I have to constantly have them serviced. And they have to come out and fix the chain, I mean, we actually old school in the chain, and probably have to take these and fix that on a regular basis, whether that work.
Okay.
We used to hold a contract, but it's extremely expensive for these old walls, so we just do the maintenance and call out.
I'm still stuck on the 60,000. Why is all of that coming out of, right, why is all that coming out of your budget?
Those are for the event, so that can say lunch,
Right,
Old Spanish Trail, like 4, 6, 60, 30, I reported on
Okay,
that.
I'd really like to see the bump that up. I don't call it out. I really need to bump that up.
What were you thinking?
well, that veterans lunch wasn't that donations at one time?
We budget for it, for
Oh,
that
yeah,
say lunch.
yeah, no doubt.
We go out for, money, and it doesn't get covered, half the money. But the past couple of years, that money gets back absorbed into the general fund usually. Or we allocate it to an additional event that we add. It's like given that the community will come up with $10,000 to cover the veterans lunch every year, so we budget for it in case. But there has not been a year that we've had to dip into it, usually the community comes up with that money. So we don't wanna rely on them each year to not come up with it.
Okay, what about, where am I gonna see where we budget for other events that we do? Like,
So this one, that number entails the Old Spanish Trail, July 4th, Spirit Christmas, and the Veterans Day Lunch.
right, but the other events that we host,
Datacom?
Datacom, gun show,
Yeah.
things
We
like that.
no longer do the gun show, and we don't budget for day.
Stop doing the gun show, I'll go with,
And to be honest, we've never budgeted for the gun show. As money came in for vendors is what we ended up using spending that money, so it was a come in and go out, so we didn't really budget for it. To use the money, I've always done it on itself, containing event.
Okay, and what about Datacom? Same?
Datacom, the first year, Daynet, when prior administration was here, it came out of Daynet. And then this past year, we used unused funds from the other event that we didn't do, but we didn't budget for it.
Well, I think it's possible in the future, we need to look at hotel, motel, tax, whatever we got. Because I'm gonna put heads in beds. GigaCon can do that, I believe.
There's
If we have to, we need to up your budget for advertisement or whatever it takes to promote that or any other big thing that we have towards the city.
there's very few things that can come out of hotel motel. Datacom, I believe you have to check the rules, it might come out of that one, but like July 4th cannot. I do not believe the Veterans Day lunch could, because it's not really bringing people into the city. Or,
Is it,
even our Old Spanish Trail, it's just a small parade,
Right,
and
yeah.
that cannot, I don't believe can.
on the July 4th thing,
Yes, sir.
as long as we don't use funds out of hotel motel to pay for fireworks, it will pay for other things, right?
But they said the Fourth of July celebration cannot, they can break it down and say various different
Because
activities.
what you sent me, it said cannot use for fireworks.
That the Fourth of July and other items that we was getting.
So we said Fourth of July in whole?
But we said the Fourth of July, I didn't go to the training, other staff members went to the
Who went to the training?
I think it's because Dayton is like for a whole weekend, so people would be coming in, vendors, staying in hotels, things like that.
Staying the night.
Fourth of July
It's
is
just a one-day event, so anything that's a.
Well, GigaCon one time, one night deal.
It's a 2-day
A
event.
2-day deal,
Actually,
so I think that would
we
be
started
because
on
people
Friday
are gonna
midday.
stay here to come.
So it
And
presents
and
a
normally we bring in special guests from wherever we pay them to come in, like we did Booker T, and I saw Jim Duggan, those who can pick him. Some others come in from out of town and fly in, we pay for hotels and stuff, so that's actually bringing them in from wherever in California.
So we got a crazy amount of money in there that we can't spend it on that. Let's spend it what we can.
Where do we have a hotel up there?
So it's just growing.
They
It's
over,
like 134.
nah, oh, that's like 300.
300.
Yeah,
That's
300.
part of the planning last year, where we
Yeah,
have
we
one
have to be
big that
very
bring
careful
people
how
to
we
the
spend those
city.
funds, because that's a special revenue fund, and not only do we gotta meet heads and beds, but we also gotta ask ourselves nice questions, and we can't say like, oh, maybe possibly, no, it has to be a yes or hard no. Yeah, like we have, the acquisition, so it says, how is it? So one of them is, you have to put heads and beds, right? Does the expenditure promote tourism in the convention and hotel industry? The question is often asked in the following way: does expenditure put heads and beds? And does the expenditure fall on one of the 9 statutory categories? The acquisition of sites for the construction, improvement, enlarging, equipment, repair, operation, and maintenance of the convention center facilities and visitors information centers. Expense associated with registration of convention delegates, advertising, solicitation, and promotion that attract tourism and convention delegates to the city. Promotion of the arts, historical preservation projects, sporting events that promote tourism in certain cities, including cities located in counties of less than 1 million population. Enhancing or upgrading existing sports facilities or sports field only in certain cities. Number 8, transportation systems that transport tourism from hotels to the commercial center of the city, convention center, other hotels or tourism attractions provided the system doesn't serve the general public, or signage directing the public to sites and attractions that are visited frequently by hotel guests in the city. If the answer to the part A and B above are yes, hot fund revenue can be used for the expenditures listed above.
And is there, thank you, because now that clarifies why we talked about changing the name.
Yeah,
Okay.
because,
Okay, so we can use.
yes.
I see a lot of stuff in there we could use.
You can use, yeah, that's what I was thinking as she was reading. Is there a limit of how much you can spend per event? Is there a minimum or maximum?
Yeah, there is a breakdown of how much you can spend in tourism and how much you can spend in admin, and how much you can spend in different things. Admin, I meant like you can also like do an audit of your hotels, like if we're saying, hey, our hotel revenue is down, what's going on, we can have an audit of all our hotels and be like, hey, what's going on, and they will go in and do like audits to see if they're actually, if we're actually collecting the correct taxes.
So that fee comes out the hotel motel tax, is that what
Yes.
I'm understanding? Okay. Okay. Yeah, it sounds like we can do a lot, and probably even more if we fit the criteria of the conventions.
Thank you.
Is,
Like a,
I'm awake, I'm thinking, this is me thinking hard. It might look like I'm asleep, I'm not. How? I feel like the community center's underused. Like we have a lot of empty space. How does this, what do we have to do here to fill the building? Does that make sense? Like, you need more staff?
well, we, just like everyone else across the city, having more staff,
But you're making money. You could make money.
we.
You could offset your costs.
Yes. If we have events that actually, charge. Because you're
Well, people still pay to use it, right? Right. So events bring money
Pay
to the
for
city.
or something to be.
So I have, on 6351, where, on public relations, can we just talk about what's the difference between, because it's almost double.
So you got a special.
There-
Yes,
those events, that's part of it, okay.
So, July 4th.
Yeah, all the important support, okay, thank you.
Do we have, any preliminary numbers yet for, the contract increase for the July fireworks this year?
I don't have anything yet, it just happened. He hasn't told us the difference yet, and, you know, the prices are going on. The thing is, for me, for the 4th of July, we need to find a location for it.
Right.
That's one of the biggest concerns that we have right now, is location.
I got a big field that you go put the lights on.
It's not big enough. How many work?
You got a location?
That 29 acres.
Check that out.
Sure.
Trees.
No, the church.
Oh, yeah, I did talk to him about it. I did.
Where's the
We
location?
could see it from the community center.
You want me to see your number about what the next one in the contract is talked about?
But 29 acres, he can go super high. So you wouldn't have to be
So,
close.
when you go up higher, what we have to do is judge the distance from any structure. The higher you go, the
The
more
one
distance
gets
you're gonna need. So we have to drive there and
Yep, 29 acres.
say,
I would assume he could go pretty high.
Talking Marcus about
yeah, right.
Or we could do it at the, new.
That's
If
what
we're
I was saying
spending
about
money, we ain't
1.6.
finding money.
Look at that, the game is supposed to be, right, that's gonna be an ideal location.
to partner with River Range.
We gotta do, we gotta
Yeah,
do.
that's what I was thinking.
I think it's a good location. It's a busy one. Yeah. Whatever makes sense.
I would definitely bring business to England.
I like that idea.
I guess I'll ask you,
You can show it. You should, you got copies?
Everyone asked me if it's another show, the purple that you talked about. This is the very top. It covers years from 22 all the way to current, past 3 years. When we had 5 attendees, we had approximately 776 individuals in private events through this building. It was up from the prior year, 2021, by 5,283. Moving to 2023, we only had 20,404 individuals for private events in the building. That dropped from 1,432,000. And then moving to the current year through June, because I did this in June for Kimberly, it has significantly dropped to 5,016, down by a huge amount from last year, as you can see. And it shows shows each month of the amount of people comes through the building. And it also shows the overtime hours for which the staff that was on full-time had during that time. That type of thing.
So COVID is over, why do you think it's down?
Yeah,
Because of the
that's
cost of the building?
Well, no, prior administration has cut staffing, well, I mean, we had 5. And to do a full ballroom back-to-back flip, one person opens, one works it, 2 comes in to completely take everything down, clean the carpet, wipe off tables and chairs, and then reset it up and put anything away. And then we're talking about dance floor stage. So you need staffing. And after a weekend of back-to-back flips, like a Friday and Saturday, you still need staffing to be off during the week or next week. So you need more staffing. So I used to be able to do 3 full ballroom back-to-back flips for private weddings or so forth, like a full ballroom that might flip it to the next event and flip it again for church on Sunday or whatever event on Sunday. So I used to do a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday full ballroom flips, which is income coming in and up to 1,000 people in this full ballroom 3 days straight. We're not capable of doing that to appropriately accommodate each person that pays money to rent here. We are unable to do the whole carpet and wipe off every table and address any chair that has salsa on it or something like that before the next
In
event.
money-wise, how much have we had difference between these years and now?
That I would have to ask Leslie to pull up.
So we're losing money because you're short of staff?
Well, people not renting the facility as much as.
It's more of a, this is mainly for community, like, involvement. I was why I created this. The more events we have, the more money to spend. Because we don't, a full ballroom rental doesn't pay for the air conditioning and all the staffing and the trash bags and cleaning stuff. It doesn't cover the day. But a community center doesn't exist without the activity. And so this is mainly to show the drop in the public participation within the building.
So this is that's just a portion of why the drop in the use of the community center or the rental of the community center. So have y'all did a gap analysis to determine what changed? Is it because other businesses have facilities? I mean, I would like to see what was the change. That's a significant drop.
It is, we have to tell people we can't accommodate their weddings.
So you have to turn people away.
Correct, because you have to have staffing, and I already pulled from, we just discussed this yesterday, Murphy's Apartment. If I need help to flip a whole dance floor and a stage, and I only have one person here, they come to help. So the staffing, we don't have to flip the roof to accommodate, so I have to turn.
That goes back to what I said initially. We're losing money because you're short on staffing, correct?
Well, we don't
That's what it
make
sounds
money.
like.
We don't make money.
So you're not profiting anything.
The community centers don't
So
profit.
for total activity for 22-23, the community center came in at 202,539.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
102,539.
102?
102,539. That's what, what we brought in. And right now,
Thus far this year?
no, that's
No, it's
for
22,
actuals for fiscal year 22-23.
Okay.
And then, year-to-date activity as of now, because I remember the report today, we are at 74,826, so almost at 75,000.
So,
What do we spend?
What we spent, or whatever the department.
The cost
The department.
is 600,000.
200 and, our projections is 269,512 for the community center.
So this one is not making any money this time.
Okay.
And then for, preliminary, it's going up to 327,114.
It's going to what?
327, I think.
That's on,
What is that
Put
number?
my glasses on. How about
What is that number?
That's the expenses.
For expenses?
Yes.
Okay.
Is
Got
that
it.
So community
8-hour
center-
day, 10 or 5 days a week expense, or is that including all the other stuff?
That's everything.
Their entire
Because-
budget. Their entire
You're
budget.
paying them 8 hours a day anyways, no matter whether it's an event or not.
So, at one point, we were making 50-something% of our expenditures. This is like when we first opened. But we had a lot of staff, and a lot of activities going on and stuff. They were putting money into events because we had no money, I guess. But we were making about 50-something% of our expenditures at that time, and that's like 2015, I believe.
Okay, so educate me, okay? The purpose for the community center is to provide a place for people in the community. It's not to turn profit.
It is not.
It's not, it's
Okay.
basically, so the community center itself is a place that we can have locally for our residents and take part. If they have a wedding, if they have a birthday party, a celebration, whatever, that's what it's for. It's for our community. It wasn't designed, I think, for a profit center to bring in income. We try to make it pay for as much as it can for itself.
So,
What is the additional revenue? I mean, if we're from 102 to 74,000, what would that number be if you had 2 more employees?
could you have
Since
more
you're not-
events?
Yeah, since you're not
If I
turning
had
events
2 more
away.
employees, I definitely could do at least a back-to-back full-on play.
What are we losing when we do that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's, I want to know this first.
Because their budget is gonna increase
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
327. So for preliminary is 327,000, and then they're only bringing in 100,000 every year. So that means that they're not sustaining their own department, which is it's okay. Some departments cannot sustain itself, but I don't know if increasing more employees is necessarily gonna bring in more revenue, because it's gonna be more expense.
What percentage are you looking for?
I would love to break even at least, but it's not gonna happen.
Well, I mean, even she said since 2015, beginning 2015, it was only 50%. So it's never broke
It's
even
never
since
gonna
the
break
day we
No, it's
opened.
never gonna break even.
So,
That's why I'm
If you
asking
added
what
3 more
percentage.
employees, or 2 more employees, it would go up to 300,000.
More than 300,000, we're already at 327,000, so if you're adding more employees, it's gonna go up more. And possibly, I don't know, I'm not sure, cause
But we
Not
have the
my
potential to
year,
get
but-
back to at least 50% to be able to not turn people away, right?
Now, keep in mind, that was also with, we were doing the gun show, we were doing other events that we actually charged the public to come in.
okay.
And right now, we are not,
Well, look at
So,
it, year
am I
to year,
understanding this to be a pass-through cost or something? Leslie, are you understanding pass, because I'm understanding if we're not making money, there's costs involved in it, but there's no profit from it. Is it a pass, you understand pass-through costs, right? So, I'm baffled on this one.
So right now, let me say something, Leslie.
Okay.
So right now, I think what we need to look at is continue to go through the budget before we start allocating more staff, so you guys can see where we stand. Because right now, like I said, we've been having to cut budget because we are having to go into reserve. I told staff, we're not going into reserve like that. If we go into reserve, then we're in trouble. So I think before we start looking at having more events, and having more employees to serve more events, we need to look at our overall budget and see where we at. We got time if council decide to add more staff, once you look at your budget totally.
my thought is you're here 8 to 5.
yes.
That is our cater, that's what we cater to is 8 to 5, because you're gonna be paid the same amount no matter what, 8 to 5. Anything after that should pay for itself. If it's not, then there's no use trying to add a bunch of people because it's not paying for itself. Now, you have events like weddings that will pay for itself, you have events, but if we're doing these small things, they're not doing anything for us, then why are we catering to them? It ain't involving the city, I'm talking about a quinceañera, it's costing a bunch of money or whatever. I don't know how to explain it, but it just doesn't, just to me,
The only way to do that is to.
I wanna make sure we have this staff that covers us for the 8 hours or 10 or whatever y'all work. And anything else that's gotta be paid for by the event
The event needs to pay for us.
So,
Well, even a wedding for the night, when they pay deposit and rental fees and for dance floor and all that, it still doesn't cover their night.
What?
Yeah.
so,
Now,
So-
with the AC and staffing, trash bag cleaning,
Cause you got prep and take
prep,
down.
so it's 2 days set up and break down, plus the cleaning, plus we provide trash bags. So even a wedding on a whole ballroom doesn't sustain the night.
And that cost is how much for the full ballroom again?
For a residential, 1,200, and it goes up for non-resident, and then for
So if
down,
you're non-resident, what is it?
a 1,200.
If you're residential?
If you're resident inside the city, you pay the $900 deposit.
Okay. And none?
900 for the
Non-residential.
No,
non-resident is going to be 16, and then business is 18. And then nonprofit is 800.
When's the last time we raised the
Yeah.
prices on those?
yeah.
Since I've been here, 14 years,
We did something since I've been.
we added the nonprofit to try to eliminate all the freebies, because there for a long time, every event we're having, were free for nonprofits. I mean, we were having no fee events.
Which was probably about 4 or 5 years ago, we looked at prices. We can go back and probably find that information.
So, in 2018, we collected 97,000 for the community center rentals. In 2019, we collected 106,052. In 2020, we collected 62,422. I think that was due to COVID.
And 21.
In 21, we collected 80,365. In 2022, 86,676, and 2023, the 102,539 that I just said. And then, for this year, I think we're gonna collect around 85, 90.
Yeah.
So, it's breaking out.
15 or anything like that? You put 15 or
I can't because, they got new software in 2017, so I don't have the.
Okay.
So Leslie, in each of those years that you just called out, was there any profit in any of those years or no?
No.
No profit?
Since the-
It happened.
the data.
I understand.
I ran a department that didn't make a profit. Sometimes it's a necessary thing. And then you just do your best to offset your operating
Yeah, no,
costs.
it's not, it's a department that is not gonna pay.
And you don't expect it to,
You
there's
don't
zero
expect it.
expectation,
It's
right?
like
It's more of a service.
If the police doesn't do any revenue.
They
so-
should make some revenue, that he's not even paying attention.
Police service, public,
Like what?
so they don't.
What, the police
Yeah.
department being
She
revenue
said,
generator?
yeah, we need a revenue
Well, no,
generator.
I literally just said a police department doesn't make money, but we did it as a necessary evil.
Yeah.
Quality of life issue, and not everything is designed.
Yeah, not everything is designed to make money.
Don't tell Pat and Billy that.
Well, I mean, you're never gonna, I mean, you built this thing for how many millions of dollars, it's gonna take a long time to pay for it. But it is a nice, so, hey, quality of life.
If we could get that $60,000 out of there, there's room for another salary.
Hey, you got guns, just hold up to you.
Yes.
That's why the courts.
Okay, we'll start with
Hey, we rotate. I look at y'all stats, alright, y'all are really important.
I think we're good on this one.
We definitely need to revisit the price.
Like it's foreign company.
I think that we need to look at, community center pricing, and neighboring towns and stuff.
We did that the last time, yes, we did, I think about more.
Yeah, I think it's time.
We are the lowest, I can tell you that, we are the lowest. We even did that in the last research session, Kimberly, we did, we were the
We're
lowest.
the lowest. and
We're the lowest
at
where?
The community center is like the community, right? Now, the water sewer fund is different, that's like a business type fund, and that does have to sustain itself. This is EDC, so that
We're
does.
lower than you.
Like, I'm sorry.
We're lower, you say.
No, this is EDC.
Compared to who?
We didn't want to, compare the.
Do you wanna-
Wanna
just do EDC first, or-
Price of residents.
Yeah, we'll see.
Sorry.
And we're nice. People come here from all over the place.
So we're gonna skip the EC.
Are we,
She gave her the wrong papers.
are we done? I feel like we're not done.
No, we still got
We can, I can pass it out. She gave me EDC, that's why I said EDC.
Are we still on community?
Can be, yeah.
For your library first and then
$60,000, what else can that come out of, that we can get somebody else here, that we can get some more events, that we can get some paid events?
I'd love to see, some more ideas for some events that I'm talking about. Garden show.
That where people are actually gonna show up.
A boat show, RV show.
I actually submitted one of those, plans to council a couple years back. I still have one.
Hunting expo. Huh? Oh, yes, I do, thank you. Thank you.
You don't see the color fingers on the side? I haven't had one.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie,
There's a few things that are talking about.
I don't know her.
Probing.
Sherry, y'all do your change down there. Sherry. Greg.
Sure. That's it.
You may have to come down here because we can't hear you. You're very, very soft. I'm sorry.
Okay. How many employees do you have?
There's 4 total.
Okay. All full-time? Okay.
You said 4,
4.
all full-time?
You want to say appreciation with the stand?
How long have those other 3 been with you?
Cindy's been here, I think, 6 years, and I think, she's been the longest with me. Others might be 3.
been about 2.
2.
I'm assuming 6348 is books.
Yes,
Okay.
and it comprises all the goods that we get for the library, event goods, magazines, supplies.
Sherry, you wanted to show you?
That was 6348?
Yes, sir.
This is an off-the-wall question, but I'll make a point. How much money does the library bring in?
We're nonprofit, so,
It brings nothing in, but you have 4 employees.
yes.
It's a necessary thing. You gotta have a library. It's necessary.
Programming that we do.
It's kinda like the civic center too, though. You gotta have this building because people sacrifice it if you don't. So sometimes you do eat money. We eat money every day because we don't make money off the library. But if you cut it out, we would all be sacrificed.
We still get so many compliments in our library.
No, it's very, very nice. Very one of the nicer ones you could go to, I promise you.
And the summer reading program y'all did this year, it was such cute themed stuff and everything.
You know who painted that backdrop, the picture of the Sasquatch in the tree?
I don't know.
We had a lot of wonderful volunteers this year to help. make it successful.
6407, is that just standard?
And that's just our dues and fees and subscriptions, so like, texture databases, we pay a fee, that comes from the state library.
Okay, the Pine Woods Conservation
Yes, the
Consortium, does it, yes.
Yes, so we have ebooks and audiobooks that they can use their library card to check out.
I actually found that online the other day, and I put it in my local library and pulled it up, and I'm like, I need to go renew my library card.
Yeah, 5 years of inactivity and then they kind of go away.
Yeah, it did. I tried to put the number in, it said we don't know.
Like, she knows that she's already disconnected you.
Do you know how much money came from the Friends group? Right off the top of your head?
No, I don't, from the,
But this is the expenses side, so it wouldn't be shown on here, right?
Right, but the money is spent, like, it's spent out of the Friends budget, so the money is still being spent.
Right,
they
it's
help
not
us
being
with different
spent
things, but it's not.
from there.
Yeah, it's not coming out
It's
of
not,
their budget.
it's not, but it's supplemental, and I think it would be good to see what else is being spent. And where the budget is maybe falling short.
Let's say looking in the.
We do report that on our state report. Any other questions?
What are your contracted services, 6411?
That's our, security services, we have to pay, 25% for the building security. That's the main thing that comes out of that line item for us.
Is that the 20, who pays the rest of it? Community. That's for like what, an alarm system, fire system?
It's monitored.
The fire system,
That
what?
one.
Oh.
Yeah, that one.
Well,
Last
it
night.
does it.
Yeah, they did call that night.
What time?
I don't know, Bernie's in there, she went and looked to make sure nothing was on fire.
Okay, good.
That was just.
Yes.
6419 merchant fees are going up a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to gauge how much to budget for, and we got under budgeted this last year, so.
Oh, okay, okay.
This year.
Yeah.
I think I'm good.
Thanks.
We got 6,000 from Friends of the Library for.
Things over. I'm sorry, I'm dead.
And the rest of it was allocated budget. The library,
In what?
you make a lot of money.
Yes, no, I get,
That's
no, I get.
not the same.
No, it's not the same.
No, that's what we're saying.
We're just saying the difference between salary employee and salary.
Just we know what we're about that one.
They work Tuesday and Thursday nights as well, and on Saturday. The library got the.
Yeah, for the different events and programs and stuff.
Yeah, no, they actually, the library is open on Saturday. And on Tuesday, Thursday, night and Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, and Tuesday, Thursday night.
So I could go over there and renew my library.
They here.
You better hurry.
Yeah, Tuesdays is our late night.
I'm very close.
Yeah, 7.
Okay, let's go.
I'm gonna sit down long.
Other than first, the numbers for Sarah.
Sarah, you asked,
She said 6,000.
answer your question. We received money from the Friends of the Library last year, $6,000. And then we purchased, the Dell computers out of there, which was 7,000. $7,636.10. So that cover that cost, and then we, pay the rest.
Outside of it, like all the other stuff that comes out of the donation funds. That's because it's more than that.
Yeah, I think we have sponsorship. This year for summer reading program. But it's more than that over the years.
the salary for that was mentioned under admin, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Say that again?
The salary for the EDC is under admin.
That's why you don't see it in this.
Yes. So that's only one, right?
Well,
It's
no,
more than one, because you take into consideration myself, finance department, the finance help as well.
Yes.
Different departments that assist to get a certain percentage.
I'm assuming the contracted services for landscaping is for the, DEDC owned properties. Okay. And we do that, the city does that, or is it contracted to someone else?
It's within a local agreement with the city, so it's the city takes care of that.
And what is 6411, the contracted services?
That is for the annual employee commit reimbursement, so $125,000 for that. And then we added this year an RFP for depository services, just in case we need to go out for RFP. I'm working with Leslie to see if that's something that's necessary this year.
So that's like the, you're saying depository services, so like when you have to go out for CDRs and stuff like that? Or,
Yes, so we went out for proposals for ours, that's what we came back, that's what we see more interest coming in. So, we have to do that for EDC too.
And 6421, other legal? Is that just, what is that?
That's our attorney fees
Okay.
for our grant agreements and.
That's Danny.
contract rights?
Yes.
That's Danny.
Yeah.
Remember, it's a lot lower than brain.
Yeah, I know. We like you better. And then 6450?
That is the retail coach.
Why were the grants and incentives dollars not increased?
Because that's typically the amount that we kind of set aside, that the board, the board feels like it's a good amount to have set aside for industrial, small, business grants and incentives.
Year to date is 285.
So we predict that you're gonna keep that, that amount the same as the next year.
We want to see more people come in, but until we show, the trend of more people are actually, that are applying, getting funded, and
But we're anticipating revenue increasing.
So, 6454, other professional services?
That is for facilitator for strategic planning.
I'm sorry, what was that again?
A facilitator for a strategic planning session for the.
Okay, okay.
So, how many, retreats or trainings or trips EDC take per year?
well, I don't know, Tara worked on her certification, so she has taken a couple of classes, but as far as, board stuff, they only gone one.
Okay, and which, is that the 6454?
No, that would be.
Do they do the
All
TEDC training?
So that is under 6401, where we have budgeted for the sales tax
Yes,
training for
workshop.
required.
And that's under which one again? Because you were answering two questions, you didn't go, you answered.
6401, yes.
6401. That's it.
Training and education.
Okay, and what, you were gonna answer my question before she asked hers. Well, I asked how many, the number of,
She said
conferences.
one.
No, they said one, that there was something else outside of that one, and she was able to explain.
Cheryl take her, she's taking training, so she has a couple of them that she will attend.
Yes, I have several for SCECD certification to become a certified economic developer.
Okay.
And those are just, courses that are required from the International Economic Development Council.
Okay, and those are not online courses, those where you have to physically go and attend, correct?
They're, most of them are online, so they're included in that education training. And I didn't account for any, travel expenses for those courses.
Right, so my question is specifically for when you, non-online training course, trips or training, how many are there? I know there's one, there's a retreat, and what else?
So the strategic planning retreat is just for the facilitator to come and host the strategic planning for the board.
Okay.
Then in, education and training, we have an ICSC conference, but it is not the Las Vegas one this year. The board wanted to do a, the more local one in Rivers in the DFW area. And then there is a Texas Economic Development Council, conference that has sessions to gain knowledge. It's almost like TML, but for economic development corporations.
So it's approximately about 4, including the strategic, planning retreat, 3 plus that one, right?
Yes, but that one's just here.
Yeah, I understand, someone else is already in here, but that's still
So-
cost, right?
Yes,
Okay.
so there's the 2 for the board
Yeah.
and staff, and then the training online for myself for that certification.
Okay. And then, the ICS is in Vegas, right?
We're not going
Yeah.
to Vegas this year.
Okay.
When
Just stay local.
we're gonna stay local.
Okay.
The thing is, we went to Vegas and you noticed this time around that we have already made Dayton known. Dayton's already been put on the map. And we were hearing the same thing, was that all you need now is the rooftop. We are watching you, we know where you're at, we see you're growing, and when those rooftops hit a certain number, then, so we felt it wasn't necessary for us to go this year.
Okay, so that's 24, 25, right? So are you all planning on attending the Texas ICS this year?
Yes, that's,
Okay.
that's included in the, so the
Yeah.
Texas ICSC Red River State, the Texas Economic Development Council, annual conference, and then, like I said, my trainings that I do on my program certification, those are included in the.
I mean, it costs, but
Yeah,
it's
and
not.
then, yeah, so those 2 are the 2, and then we have a sales tax workshop that's required for certain members every other year. So we have 3 attendees for a sales tax workshop.
Is that local?
It's local.
Okay.
So it's just a day thing, so all we're covering is like registration costs.
Okay. And then the strategic plan comes here, which is the retreat. Okay. Thank you.
6458, I don't see that there's anything there.
That was our printer lease that we got rid of because now we're located in City Hall, we have access to those printers.
And then what is R&M and other, 6512?
That is in case we ever need any maintenance to the property that the EDC owns.
Okay.
Because I know previously we've had to replace a culvert at the entrance right there off of Highway 90, so we like to keep a little bit in there just in case.
Where does the revenue, sale, this is all sales tax, right?
Yes, we're funded by house access.
Yes. If you have excess, where does it go? Does it just roll over somewhere, like, does it
It just is in our
squirrel away?
our bank account, just in case there's any, like when we purchase the property.
Exposure, or if someone come in that they want to fund the cost of it is more than calculated, and then it gets reported. And they do,
Yes.
they do donate to the park as
Yes.
well. But that's one of the things that they will, the Economic Development Corporation will do, they have given money for the park.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm wondering how that works. It just kind of rolls over somewhere. You don't give it to another fund.
Correct.
It
Because
stays
it's all
with you.
separate with the EDC fund.
So speaking of parks, how much did you guys donate or contribute to the Henderson Day Park, this last year?
So the Henderson Day was about 98,000 from the last fiscal year, had to roll over to this year because we weren't getting the equipment wasn't coming in until this fiscal year.
So it's 98,000.
And then this fiscal year, it was approved for 25,000 for, Daniel Park.
So,
And every year, the board sets aside 25,000 to, for community development projects like that.
okay.
And is that included in the grants and incentives column?
Yes, ma'am, it's
In
included
that
for
four
all.
sixty-one?
Yes, ma'am, it has the enhancement community contribution to the public art, as well as the community development project, and then all our smaller grants.
All rolled into that one?
Yes.
So did y'all have a surplus in there? Is that why you did the 98,000 for Henderson Day? If you only set aside 25,000?
They asked for it.
Yeah.
Well, what department asked for it, whether we have a surplus.
Yeah.
Right, they came,
Right.
and requested this as an individual grant.
Oh, okay.
So last year, what was that line item for the parks? What was, because I remember last year when we were doing this budget, there was how much? 25,000, was that supposed to come from EDC? Or was that what the city allocated? Because when I looked at, I mean, this may be pre-whatever, I saw another number, and then I asked, and I think you, Tanya, they said that the EDC was contributing to, some of the funds were gonna be contributed to the enhancement of Henderson Day Park, correct?
And that's what they did, the 98, the 25 was not, I think that was Daniel Park.
So, the 98 was the community development project the board voted for last fiscal year.
They went to Henderson Day.
And that went to Henderson Day. The reason it's showing up in this fiscal year is because we didn't get the equipment to do it until this fiscal year, so we had to kind of roll it over.
Will there be more contribution of money set aside for the Henderson Day Park? And is this not the meeting to discuss it, because?
No, not at this time. What happens is, and that's why we have the parks board, and what they try to do is they circle around to the park. So they contribute 1 year to the Parker Park, went from Parker Park to Dayton Park, then to Henderson Day, Sawmill. So basically, that's what they do. They take the funds and they take it around to the different communities.
Okay.
Now they were back at Henderson Day, and that's where they did the playground equipment.
Right. So how much was contributed to the Parker Park on Winfrey when it was when you started this?
I'm not 100% sure, that was before mine.
Yeah. A lot of that was grant as well. We got a grant for that part.
Yeah, because since I've been here, we kind of started doing things a little different from the previous.
Yeah, the EDC didn't contribute to Parker Park at all.
The most money that we spent on the park actually is going to be Evans.
So we plan on getting lighting. And
So-
it's probably too much for this, I know we're talking about agency too.
So this is what, I know you had, so what we did was, I spoke to Public Works, they was looking at numbers to see if we can do lighting, how much it cost us, those were in the park budget.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Lexi, did you want to add anything about, where you had made any changes or anything?
I think that the only thing I really have to add is that we spent a lot of time on moving some things around and really trying to be intentional with how we were spending this money. One of the biggest changes we made is we did a little bit of change to the membership with the chamber. No issue with the chamber, but we wanted to make sure the money we spent on these events is going to something that is going to support small business in this area. They have some great events, but not all of them, I would say, are in our wheelhouse. So we want to make sure that when we are spending money with them, it's in our wheelhouse.
Makes sense. Spend smarter.
So this is what we did to council, keep in mind, third to the other departments. This would not be the end of your budget review. I put by your places, you have a calendar, so you can see it does not include today or Thursday, but it has the other remaining dates on here for your workshop.
Well, we'll get a bunch of the these little preliminary questions out of the way, maybe it won't last 4 hours like it did last year.
Shall we, get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, most second, third.
We're gonna be back here Thursday.
We're adjourned.
Tomorrow is not promised.
Have you already?
If we have some questions, y'all can say, but you did one more, you finished.
I was gonna make sure every department head here didn't have any questions for council, because it just seems like we asked them questions.
I may wait until Thursday, I might have more.
That's fine.
Kim, not to cut you off, but John made a very valid point. He asked a lot of questions of
Yeah.
each department, but we didn't get feedback from them, so
Right.
next meeting.
It's because what happens is.
Do I need to bring them?
City
Still
staff.
coming out, what?
So it comes through.
That's what they, and that's why you have it.
That's what I needed to clarify. Thank you.
And you have to